as I mentioned, a session was intended to be Intune and Autopilot 2 years after, but now it's almost 3 years gone. Basically, I didn't prepare a lot of slides. I will more or less let's jump to the console today to see how it's working. I would like to know who from you is working with Intune so far. How many experience do you have? You are, okay?
Yes.
Any other people? Okay.
I think the better question would have been who isn't.
Okay, that's a quite good question. So, what's Intune and Autopilot? Let's skip to the second. I didn't remove something. Okay, nevertheless. So I think all of you saw this picture so far. That's the most common used picture from when we are talking about the Intune and Autopilot. Autopilot is nothing new, to be honest. In a mobile device world, we have it now at Android with the name of Zero Touch. We have it on Apple with the device enrollment program so far. Now it's not calling anymore device enrollment program. Now it's called Apple Business Manager and stuff around it. But nevertheless, let's come to the Windows, and it was introduced 2017, if I can remember, or 2017 somewhere in so it's almost 4 years. Okay. Good. So 2017 and at the winter it was Ignite as I can remember, and the Autopilot should provide us really quite a nice delivery from our PCs. At that point of time, it was nice and shiny to be shown on a presentation, but no one didn't know anything how to implement that. 2 months later, it was quite clear how we can implement that and how this is working. Basically, it's that hardware needs to be known to our tenant, and when hardware is known to our tenant, Windows devices will be basically asking during activation process and registration process will be asked, oh, am I belonging to some tenant, and it will register itself. Basically, how it seemed, that's a really high level diagram how it's intended to be and why it's really come to the winning point at the moment, because we are doing purchasing. No matter who the person who is purchasing things does not necessarily needs to be a technical person. Then it's come to the vendor. Vendor will fulfill and deploy directly to the to end user. In the meanwhile, vendor will upload or will send us the data which is necessary for our device to be autopiloted. Then user will use this self-service experience, be ready for business within our, or let's say, maximal 2. My lowest performance result was 1.5 hour, really low performance result. So basically, then vendor is providing us data. User, what user needs to do? User needs to do choose a region, keyboard, and put username and a password. Basically, it's email address and a password. Then it's ready for business. Now we are coming to the trick point, but I will describe it later. Or basically, let's do it now. Ready for business is a little bit discussion about ready for business, what this can be. If we are talking ready for business, mainly when we are talking about half an hour, 2 hour maximal delivery time, we are not talking about the engineering apps like, I don't know, AutoCAD, CATIA, stuff like that. We are talking about deploying Office 365, deploying some additional software like, I don't know, Foxit Reader, Adobe Reader, both or some of them, like 7-Zip or some similar software, like additional browser, like I don't know, Firefox, because with the new Edge we don't need Chrome anymore. And that's in a basic, that's it. Okay, we can pack something on top of that, like VLC viewer, some team viewer, stuff like that. But there are all small things which we are providing on a machine. And of course, as I mentioned already, Office. And if we need to have, I don't know, AutoCAD, CATIA, stuff like this will be packaging in the behind, and we will provide it. We will provide it as a available to install over the company portal there later on. Yeah, of course, company portal needs to be deployed as well. And then we have this steady state usage. We have this manage and keep current. This is evergreen process from Microsoft. That part from is from Intune. And we have a really nice break and fix reset. I was involved in some project where we talking about 40,000 PC worldwide on this, and we achieved that this break fix reset was under 1 hour. So the goal was, if technician will not be able to fix PC within 15 minutes, then we will do break fix. Of course, prerequisite was complete Office stack, OneDrive for Business, redirected to My Documents, redirected desktop, save favorites, save profile, stuff like that. But nevertheless, it's quite nice. During break week, we can go to Ready for Business, and then we can go easily to end of life when we can wipe PC, delete PC from our tenant. Basically, what changed within Autopilot within the last 3 years? First of all, script itself can contain more info as before, and one info is kicked out. In the very beginning, we need to have hardware device ID, Windows ID in the beginning, and hardware hash. That's the free. That was the free obligatory information. From this free obligatory information, we now lower to 2 obligatory information. That's device ID and hardware hash. Device ID is mostly the serial number from PC, notebook whatsoever, and hardware hash is some things which is calculated from Microsoft. If someone from you is interested, I didn't prepare that, but there is a complete formula how this is calculated and why and what. What we have right now, well, nice. We have a HoloLens we can Autopilot HoloLens, which is quite nice advantage, because I think my personal opinion is this HoloLens is the device which needs to be autopiloted. Otherwise, it's quite easier to do it in that way, that someone needs to have it on head and configure it. That assignments of profile has changed. Before, I don't know, did someone of you working with Autopilot before? But I was, and it was really at the beginning painful. You need to skip between Intune and Store for Business. Then you need to upload the thing. You need to first upload the CSV file to the Intune. Then wait until it's visible. Then go to the Store for Business. Then from Store for Business, assign the profile, and then you can do it via Intune. And if you want to delete something, you need to go to the Store for Business. It was really painful that time. Now it's quite easier. We can do it from Windows console, from Intune console. White gloves, out of the box experience. What is white gloves? I didn't test it as well so far, but basically, out of white gloves provides us option that we are deceiving end user at the end of the day. The end user have this really nice and fast autopilot experience on each and every connection, which is not quite true. What we are doing, it's doing the technician will really start white gloves out of the box experience. Will preload everything what should be come from Intune during autopilot process. All policy will be applied. Everything will be applied on a machine. What user needs to do later on, type username and password and register machine. Register machine means that machine will be pre-registered within Intune, and it will be just registered with the end user name. So relevant things in enrollment status page has changed. I will show you later on. Really nice thing is that this skip button can be turned off. Finally, I have a nightmare during troubleshooting with some users because that at the beginning skip now button was not available to shut down, to turn off. And support of operating system changes interactively. I don't know. The Microsoft have these two years plus latest version. I think that's the policy so far. And the possibility for Windows for Autopilot was only within a Windows 10. So basically, theoretically, you can grab your hardware hash data for each and every Windows 10 device. But if you are trying to do it 1607 or 7002, you are able to do it. But if you try to upload it into, you will receive an error because this hardware cache is not supported. Interesting thing is, if you have this operating system already autopiloted and you have it within your Intune, then the operating system, you can do your autopilot reset. But importing a new one, it will not be possible. So that's what's changed. Prerequisite for Autopilot. As I mentioned, the hardware hash and device ID. We don't need to know anymore the Windows ID. It was quite at the beginning was nice to have. Actually, it was prerequisite, but was quite stupid when we are talking from perspective of activation of Microsoft 365. Meaning, if we are asking for Windows ID and we will activate, I don't know, we have a Windows 10 Home Edition and we will activate with Enterprise Edition with our username and password within our license, that was the Windows ID will change then. And Microsoft realized that really quick and they kick it out. Vendor support, what I said during prerequisite on vendor support is, vendor support is now fully featured. As far as I get the latest info, Lenovo and HP and Dell are not charging anything extra anymore for exporting this file and providing CSV file for you. How we are uploading this? We can basically each and every device grab the device ID and hardware hash via get autopilot info script, PowerShell script, or vendor can, and then we will be that this will be saved within CSV data file, and then we will upload it to an Intune, or we have this vendor support. Vendor will provide this for us, or we will even allow vendor to upload this to our tenant, so we can just simply enroll it. It's functioning similar like with Apple Business Manager. So high-level autopilot steps: enable automatic MDM enrollment, register device in autopilot, create a device group, create a deployment profile, verify enrollment status page configuration, and verify profile status of the devices, and we are good to go. We need to just power on device and we can work. What's changed in Intune in the last 3 years? So that's where we have changes. What to be honest, consoles has changed. Last year in August we have this major 1st of August we have this major console change. I don't know how you survived that, but I had a really big problem at the beginning. Microsoft announced it really up in advance, and both console was this Azure one and this endpoint one. This was what was extracted from Azure. They announced it way upfront. But basically, I don't know, did you notice that the first console, the one which was based on Silverlight, was active until January this year? That's what was on admin.manage.microsoft.com. This was from Intune version 3 or something like that. Before Intune version 3. So on this console was longer active longer than the one which we had within Azure. And then endpoint security was extracted within a console. We have this this complete console logic was changed within endpoint security was extracted within. We have now provisioning for Windows 365. We have group policy analytics, which is quite nice feature. You can, I don't know, did you try it already? I still didn't. But the basic, what we complain about to the product group, okay, why we cannot export our group policies, our customer group policy, export or backup it and provide it with Intune to see what we can implement, what not. Reporting has changed. Reporting within Intune was improved really, really to the better way. Huge improvement. Support for Microsoft Tunnel Gateway is also there. I'm not quite on the same page as Microsoft Tunnel Gateway, the same as Azure Firewall or not, but nevertheless. This year we have, during summer this year, we have this unified certified connector. Unified certificate connector. Before we have two certificate connectors, depend of the use case scenario. Now both these are replaced with one. So one certificate connector to rule them all. Basically, I'm not happy with that. And we have integration with the graph. I never use the graph integration to be honest. So console has changed. That's what I mentioned. Migrate to Azure from new endpoint portal. Logic of console in between selves changed. What changed in a logic that if you are used to use the old console, the new was pretty confusing one. I was really hunting down the things within a console because I was used to use the old one, and within the new one, I was totally confused at the beginning. Now I can follow the logic, but nevertheless, it was like, okay. What is in this logic, it's divided within device and apps category mainly. And then we have like 3 pillars like Windows, iPhone, iOS, or iOS, macOS, and then we have Android devices. It's divided in a platform category. What I actually mentioned. Admin templates, huge improvement. Admin templates receive GUI within the last 3 years. We have admin templates within Intune. And in a total, we have like 95% of most used GPO settings built in Intune, which leads us to following conclusion. If we're talking about provisioning of devices with Autopilot in a domain, we don't need to have any device anymore inside of Active Directory domain, basically on legacy domain. We can use Azure Active Directory or cloud domain for to storing our devices and to manage our devices. That's what changes within the console and basically within Intune from a logic perspective. What changes in support for iOS? It's wrong, sorry. That's the support for iOS. I need to just change the slides. Sorry for that. We have Apple Configurator, support for Apple Configurator, support for enrollment program tokens. We can have it more within Intune. We are supporting Apple Business Manager, volume purchase program tokens, so it's divided at the moment. And update policies for iOS, iPadOS. So for iOS devices, we have update policies. So we can create the policy like we can create within for the Windows devices. And let's switch back for Android. For Android, what's new? It's new. We can recognize and accept this personal device with work profile or bring your own device scenario Android administrator. We have a couple of new, instead of kiosk devices, we have a couple of new things. We have Android open source project. That's quite new. I still didn't test it. but I was playing a lot at the customer side with Kobe and Kopo devices. Kobe is corporate-owned, business-enabled, and should be Kobo and Kope. So corporate-owned, private-enabled, corporate-owned, business-only. Meaning, what does it actually mean? Meaning that business-only devices are intended only to be without any private data on them. So meaning not the kiosk devices, it's really mobile devices, but we are not allowed to put any our private, we cannot allow install any application, we cannot add any account. Device is activated with a corporate account, and that's it. With the private enabled, we have so-called work profile within a work device, so that private data and work data will be split in a two containers on Android. So that's to make a long story short. We will show how this functioning, how this can work. It's quite enrollment is quite easy. We just need to create a token, and over the Android setup, Android for Work setup, we can enroll in a both way. And why Intune is so important today? Basically, I don't know, did you get it or no? Intune is now fundament for all Microsoft security products. If we want to have this conditional access and we are trying to say, oh, device is compliant or device is healthy, we need to have Intune in the background. If we want to implement Windows information protection, we need to combine it with mobile cloud, with Microsoft Cloud App Security. Now it's called Defender for Cloud Applications, something like that. Microsoft now changing these names, and they are calling everything Defender. Everything what have to do with security is Defender. Okay, good, but nevertheless, it's confusing for end users. And if you want to do it, if you want, I don't know, have a use case scenario which I had recently in the past, that only particular data is not allowed to be copied. Like, I don't know, I have Word document which is not labeled with, I don't know, confidential, secret, internal only, something like that. But I want to copy and paste information within a chat, or I want to copy information from this document and paste it in some other. Yeah, I can do that, but if this contains credit card information with combination from MCAS and Intune and Windows 10, I will not be able. Everything will be copied out except the credit card information. Credit card numbers will not be copied out. And that's quite good, but for that, we need to have an Intune, we need to have Windows 10 device, and we need to have Cloud App Security. At the moment, so that's the last sentence is my private or personal opinion about that. That Intune is complete solution for client endpoint management today. If we are talking about some specific features which have, I don't know, Mobile Iron, Xen Mobile, YAML whatsoever, and this one feature is killing feature, then Intune is not for the client. But basically, Intune is most complete if we are not feature dependent. We want to have overall product which can cover us really good. Then Intune is for us with its deeper interconnection with all Azure products, Azure Active Directory, and further integration with Office, stuff like that. We can provide everything what we have had or what we had on-prem within a cloud. Meaning there is no reason at the moment to stay on-prem with the clients. I'm talking about that daily with the users, and they are always complaining. Yeah, what, how, why? I had some successful projects when I was trying to push user in a way, say, okay, let's forget hybrid. We will configure it hybrid. It will go everything on my account. This configuration, I will do it for free. If you are agreed that you will test cloud only device. If this will not be for you, let's go it in a way that we will configure it in hybrid environment, no problem. but in that way, if this is for you, it's for you free. If we need to skip back, I will do configuration, so you will not be charged for any minute extra. And there's a couple of users agree on that. I was not successful with one because they have really some special use case scenario, so they couldn't go to to a cloud. All other went to a cloud. And not the latest, but one of the latest slides today. What is missing today? Yes, what I'm still missing is support for Surface Hub. I don't know, did you deal with the Surface Hub? I deal in a couple of projects, and the managing of this device is a nightmare. You can do something which is not nearly in the near what this device, with what can be done with this device, that Autopilot is enabled. Future of business store. So Microsoft Store for Business is uncertain. I didn't quite catch what's happening latest with that. What is missing at the moment is device location for Android. And I didn't intentionally wrote one thing, and that's my question to you. What's else missing in Intune today? Unfortunately, we are not in-person event, so I don't have any swags that I can give you, but that's usually my question for a giveaway. What is still missing in Intune today? Four thing is missing. One thing, it should be four. Sorry, I need to turn on the chat. Server support, yeah, actually server support. Linux support, Chrome OS, yes, we will see. We had BlackBerry support at that point at the time, but nevertheless, server support. Jeroen, sorry if I'm not pronouncing it good. Server support is missing. That we have a server support that I will humbly go in a way that then we can turn off our System Center Configuration Manager and we can go in Intune. I don't know, did you notice before 2 or 3 weeks was really a mess within the community? Juchron, okay. It was a mess within a community. Michael Nichaus posted one post that said in a Twitter, when I'm reading that, SCCM is dead. And he put a link within on a Microsoft website, on Microsoft blog, official blog. And this post really disappeared 2 days after. It's not possible anymore to find this post. So if you agree, I will just simply go to a console. So our almighty console. Home, I never been in a home, to be honest. What you can see here, everything is fine. You can see the client tabs, some errors fail, what is healthy, what is not, blah, blah, blah. But nevertheless, I never use this home. I'm always jumping to devices. And what we mentioned right now, device enrollment. Within device enrollment, deployment profiles for Autopilot. It's quite simple. What it was before, we have Windows PC and HoloLens. Create a profile. And now we can go to the deployment was user-driven or self-deploying. It's still in a preview. Join to Azure Active Directory as either joined or hybrid joined. We are usually turning this off. Privacy settings, everything fine. But now we will skip scope text and we are coming to assignments. Before, assignments was not there, so now we can set, okay, add to all devices or add to the groups, and we are good to go. Before it was not here, so we need to go to really to Store for Business. Just give a second. if this is didn't open it for a long time. No, it's not available anymore. Nice. Nevertheless, then you need to go to the business store and then you need to assign the profile directly to a PC. Now it's not needed anymore, which is quite nice. Before we can do anything, maybe I should play the recording for our podcast. Which podcast? Okay. Question was just online or offline licenses and why. I will come to the point. Give me a sec. Before we come to this, we need to enable automatic enrollment. Otherwise, the autopilot will not functioning. And here we can do all, some, or none. If we are putting on none, no one will be able to go to enroll anything in our tenant. If we put some on a particular group, and if we put all, everybody will be able. Difference between some and all, depending on use case scenario. What you are trying to do, what you are doing. In some pilots, you can go to some. If everybody needs to go there, it's all. If you are dealing with some licensing problem, you will go to some. Then only group which have assigned license will be able to go. Question was for online or offline licenses in the store for business. Give me a sec. If I can open it, give me a sec. I know what you mean. There is no business store for business app. I have it somewhere here. Offline and online is a difference. Basically, I found this on a Surface Hub. The difference is that offline can be used without to have when I said device or user connected to the internet. User just needs to be log in, just needs to log in to use the application. And online was normally which was used, but in a daily business. Where I was find use case scenario that offline needs to be used, that was these Surface Hub devices. You couldn't provide, or basically you couldn't install Microsoft Teams for Surface Hubs if you didn't buy it with offline licenses. Otherwise, it was not available. Let me check now. I'm curious, so we can see connectors and tokens. What's happened with Store for Business? Still active. Thing. See what. Oh. It's working. I missed one S. Okay. So I assume. Did someone say that Silvera is dead? You mean that one? That one was, I found only use case scenario to go offline in a Surface Hub. Otherwise, online was working without any problems. Yes. Offline is device based and online is user based, and even that have something to do with connection to internet. Otherwise, when you're logging in, that application will be, even if it's free, it will be check if license is assigned, and that's process in behind. Not you don't need when it's the offline when offline license is assigned, you don't need to update it by yourself. It should be done automatically. Okay, let's go further. So this funny thing is here that when we are talking about automatic enrollment, if we are not enabled automatic enrollment here, we will not be able to enroll any device. iPhone, Android as well. It's not be you will not be able to enroll it. Interesting thing is that part is not part from Microsoft Intune. That part is part from Azure Active Directory. Therefore, when we are talking about the license, about the role-based access, for certain part we need to have global admin rights. That's the one thing, and we have additional one in tenant administration. Let me shortly check. That one is one, and we need to have one. Just forgot. Oh, I got the new release. Nevertheless, okay, good. Further, let's continue. Devices. What we need to do? We need to import devices. We just need to select CSV file, and that's I don't have it here. Give me a sec. I just need to shortly take a look on my machine. If no, sorry, I put my USB somewhere, which is usually near my desk, where I have this this data with with the CSV file. Within CSV file, we can just upload. So we are selecting file, upload it there, and we are good to go. Device will be shown here within 15 minutes. Other old-fashioned ways here, devices, add devices, then we are adding devices, and that's okay. And then we can choose here Autopilot deployment, and we are assigning a profile here to device. Interesting thing, this old Silverlight console, you can simply it working much faster than it worked within an Intune console. Okay, what's next? Next, we are coming further to devices. New things are here. Update rings. We have now divided for feature updates and quality updates, which means security patches and versioning updates. And we can divide it in rings. I don't know, did you play it with that at the moment, but it's quite easy. You can create a profile on which version. Depend how you want to update as soon as possible to every machine gradually. So in a waves, make update available on a specific date. Scope text and assignments, and we are good. Or update ring, as far as I know, we have here update policy. That's my old settings. And here you can easily choose quality update deferral period. So you could choose deferral period if you need it. So you can, in an old fashion, in an old world, we have that that you can just make a couple of rings. So you create a couple of rings with 0 day immediately apply, 30-day deferral, 60-day deferral, 90 days deferral, something like that. So you have 4 rings, so you can deploy it. You can choose when, where, or from which time you can install the update. Option to pause Windows updates, yes or no. Option to check for Windows updates, yes or no. Stuff like that. It's it was from beginning here. PowerShell scripts was from beginning here. Sorry. That's it. Configuration profiles, as I mentioned, admin templates. And now we have administrative templates, custom delivery optimization, administrative templates. And when we create here, we have now GUI. And I don't know who from you, important is to set device enrollment registration. Yes. Okay, I've heard that people say that it's best practice to not enable MIM and NDM auto enrollment in the same cases. Yes, that's still true. Good question. I will answer it a little bit later. So we all knew how this from old world from group policy object and admin templates. That's nothing new here. What we can do: computer configuration, user configuration. That's everything is here. Interesting thing is here we have admin templates here for office things. And let me check if this is still here. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, they integrated a little bit more. But if I will now deep dive a bit, now you can see that that's something. Some alien body within an Intune console. Basically, we are talking about config office com, which are built here. This window is built in within an Intune window inside. So that's office policies here, so we can control office apps from here, deploy this policy, stuff like that. EOS, as I mentioned, from devices perspective, go back. Enrollment from Apple configurator and enrollment program tokens. Second, my mouse is going crazy as usual. Update policy that you can say which type of update you want to install. What is the scheduled time, and you can which time zone, and you can set when it starts, when it ends. Basically, you can control your updates. You can control it when this will be deployed on your Apple devices. Before 2 years or 3 years, that was not here. Android. That's what I mentioned. That's brand new. These two things. And corporate-owned, fully managed user devices, and corporate-owned devices with work profile. That's new. Windows Defender antivirus can now run in a sandbox. I didn't notice that. Let's talk about this. Let me finish with that really quick, because we are running on time, so we can go to the Q&A, and we can how we said, bring your own beer, so we can go to the beer and chit chat. Quite easy. I mentioned this connector and tokens, this certificate connector. Now, if we want to we have only one certificate connector. Before we have two for STEP and it was PKCS. Now we have only one which supports both in a total and appropriate way. As I mentioned, endpoint security is totally extracted in its own way, so we can manage security baseline, antivirus, stuff like that. Enrollment to Defender for endpoint is now automated over the Intune. Reports are here, so we can see device compliance. Let's see what will. Important thing here when you are using the Intune reports here, please be aware of the fact that every time you need to press refresh. It will not be refreshed until you press refresh. Then it will refresh, grab the data, and it will be shown to you. Also, device configuration. Device configuration, I have it here. I already pressed it sometimes, some in the past. So what I have, how devices successfully, for example, Defender ATP or Defender for Endpoint, now it's called. The Group Policy Analytics, it's a new one, and we have it here. Group Policy Analytics, what we need to do here, we need to import, and then we will have ready for migration, not supported, deprecated, and the settings will be good. So we can see really how we can compare how we can do with our Intune. So that's really fast about what's new here. As I mentioned, tenant administration. That's also not a part. Azure PIM is not part of Intune at all. That's part of Azure Active Directory. Basically, it's here because it's realized that people are using privileged identity management really in comparison with Intune. Microsoft Tunnel Gateway is here. That's it. Okay, now questions.